Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for clicking on this video. So, what I have for you right now is something that I mentioned in passing in my last video regarding the dream I had of Mother Mary. So, you might just refer to her as Mary. I'm speaking of the mother of Jesus while Jesus was incarnate on earth. So there. In the Catholic Church, we refer to Mary as Mother Mary, so that's how I'm going to go with this. Of course, this video is for just anyone who's watching. Given us, we're all children of God, and basically, we are called to just respect each other as children of God. We're all the same, okay? Anyway, to start with, I don't recall ever having dreamt of Mother Mary previously or anytime in the past, so this is kind of a first for me if I remember right. But prior to this dream, I already started having dreams of friends and acquaintances, relatives also named Mary Ann, Marianne. And then all of a sudden, I had this dream of Mother Mary. She was so beautiful, and she was in her, in her blue robes. And how it happened was nothing up in the sky or stuff like that. It actually just happened in sort of like a town hall, like a little chapel, but more like a town hall, because the ambience of the place was not really very solemn. So it was a small hall, and then there were pews, not chairs, so pews on either side, just like as in a chapel or in church. And then the pews were filled with all of us, filled with people, and everyone was talking. Everyone was talking about everything under the sun, and probably their experiences, and then they were just greeting each other, and or all sorts of conversations. Okay, and then what happened was, I was coming from, okay, so if everyone was facing front, and these were the pews, so I was coming from this side, and then I had to make my way toward the other row, the other column of pews. So I made my way in front of everyone, and then Mother Mary was seated on the first pew of the set of pews where I was going. So I was making my way turning there, and then I actually wanted to pass in front of her. I bent my head low to pass as a sign of respect. But then what I felt was, I felt my foot sort of touching her feet, and the feeling of her feet were like, they were so solid, they were almost rock solid. And her head was just bent low, and she was wearing blue, this sort of blue. It was sky blue, and she was not saying anything. She was not even moving. And beside her was someone whom I sensed was also a maiden from long before, from way back in Jesus' time, okay? And everyone else was from the modern world. Okay, so there. And then so I saw that I saw that I couldn't make my way passing in front and going to the back of the pews. So I just passed through the aisle going back, and then I sat among some of the people there. They were nice, they were smiling, but everyone was just speaking. Okay, and then I had this dream actually over 3 weeks to a month ago, and I've been trying to figure out what it meant. And given that I had almost a month to think about it, the only thing that came to me was pray, pray, just pray. And then I thought to myself, is the message just about prayer? Is that all? And then all of a sudden, I sort of realized or heard the message that, yeah, prayer is all you need. This is not about nothing else but prayer. And I was sort of, I was humbled, having received only that message, prayer, just pray. Is it just prayer? Is it all? Is it all? Apparently, yes, it is. Sometimes we underestimate the power of prayer. At the same time, also, we are aware that prayer can move mountains. So, it was just humbling for me because, well, sometimes we could look at prayer as something so passive, like we're not really doing anything. We are just praying, we're making our intentions known to God. And well, in any form of prayer that we're doing, so it depends on how you pray or how you communicate with the divine or with the spiritual force in your life. But yes, the message is just prayer. Now, she was just very solemn, and her feet were planted in the ground. Her feet were firmly planted. So I guess this is also a message saying that if you want to remain grounded, just keep on praying. And prayer actually, having for her feet on the ground, actually means that prayer can cause things to happen on the earth. Okay, so if you're still in lockdown, well, the world is opening up right now little by little, but we know it's just experimental at this time, whether we're going to our situations are going to improve, or worldly situations going to improve or not. And there are all sorts of things happening around the world, and judging by all the other people there in the hall, what was happening was everyone was just talking. Now sometimes we hear about different things, and all over the news, every day people are just voicing out their opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes when you're in lockdown, you tend to hear something and you speak your mind, and then you have opinions about everything else. But then what I'm saying here is that, like what I've been telling my son every now and then, I keep telling him that it is more important to listen than to talk. Don't be talking all the time without listening, without trying to understand. So it's that. Now, we could have all sorts of opinions about everything that's going on around the world, which is perfectly fine, but the advice here also is sometimes to take a step back, take some time in solitude and commune with the divine. Okay, so there. Okay, and now I want to go to the next part of the dream. The next part of the dream, when I went out of the hall, the time when I went out of the hall already. Now, if some of you recall one of my earlier videos about baptism happening in the spiritual realm, that we're all being baptized, what I've sensed from the message that came after the dream is that the world is sort of having a reboot. Okay, so I walked out into this, well, pavement that was actually leading to the main road. Okay, while I was walking there, the pavement, the distance, the distance I was walking to toward the main road was under an arch of vines, and the leaves were so green, and the air was so fresh. The air was fresh, and then when I reached the main road, there was maybe just one or two cars, just as is happening around the world now. There's not much of traffic and stuff like that. So it was like walking out into the world. I haven't been out since lockdown. Okay, it's like walking out into the world, but everything is fresh. So despite what we see and despite what we hear that's going on right now out in the world, out in the material world or the earthly plane, I firmly believe that there is also a sense where on the spiritual side, the world is undergoing a reboot of some kind. So everything is starting fresh and new, and hopefully the way we look at the world also is on a deeper and higher perspective at the same time. Okay, so there. I guess that's all I have for you right now, guys. I don't know when I'll be back, but well, apparently I'm back whenever they have something for you, not just for me. Okay, so this is just me, Alvie, saying find your strength, find your peace, stay with God, whatever you consider Him to be, and don't underestimate the power of prayer.